And we get a first timer in the fading light here. Coming around the last part of the bend. And they're off for the Citipost handicap hurdle. Race over 3 miles. They're scheduled to jump 12 flights along the way. Guerriero in the blue and yellow, and out wider Bold Endeavour in the red and white prominence. And Bold Endeavour goes freely over the first and establishes himself with a lead of a couple of lengths, with Paris Calor in the maroon and grey in the chasing line, with the aforementioned Guerriero in the blue and yellow, and Big Brasil in the light blue also in that cluster. A couple of lengths away to the nose-banded White Rhino, who sits back in midfield, accompanied by Hermino, white cap for Niall Houlihan. Then last year's winner, Captain Morgs, the black and white jacket for Nico de Boinville, racing alongside Fontana Alissi, Robbie Dunn in the maroon silks, David Bass out wider aboard the nose-banded Shantou Express in the pink and blue, and the white-faced Tiger Jet under double chasing Harry Cogden is the early back marker as they complete the jumping on that section of the track and swing left-handed across the top of the course onto the fourth. Bold Endeavour leading up to Big Brasil, Paris Calor, Wide and Guerriero between horses. And then White Rhino alongside Hermino. They'll go into this flight in midfield. Followed over by Shantou Express, wide of a line of 3. Captain Morgs down on the near side, Fontana Alissi, maroon jacket up between them, and a couple of lengths away to Tiger Jet. Now the run left-handed and down the hill on the extended gallop to the 5th. And Bold Endeavour and teenager Freddie Gordon giving a lead to their 9 rivals. Big Brasil, one of the big priced outsiders, light blue jacket for Jack Quinlan, disputing second with Guerriero, Brendan Powell the blue and yellow, and Paris Calor and Dave Noonan wider. White Rhino in the noseband under Henry Brooke, disputing 5th place with Hermino and Niall Houlihan. And Captain Morgs, Nico de Boinville, David Bass, Shantou Express, Fontana Alissi, maroon jacket, Robbie Dunn and Harry Cogden, and Tiger Jet in rear. Bold Endeavour, neat, if a little out to the right over the 5th. Still leading, and they prepare to swing into the straight first time. Bold Endeavour in front, one of the Nicky Henderson trained pair in the Citipost handicap hurdle. Paris Calor wide on the crown of the bend. Big Brasil cutting the corner, Guerriero poised between them. Then White Rhino and Hermino, stalked by the nose-banded Shantou Express, to Captain Morgs, yellow cap Nico de Boinville, Fontana Alissi, and the white-faced Tiger Jet remains at the tail of a still fairly well-grouped field as they now approach the 6th. Bold Endeavour and Paris Calor into the wings of this flight, just about the leading pair over Guerriero and Big Brasil, who round out the leading quartet. They meet rising ground, a couple of lengths ahead of Hermino, racing on the near side of White Rhino, the red cap, and then Shantou Express, followed by Captain Morgs, Fontana Alissi last but one, and Tiger Jet looks on. They've completed a circuit and they're halfway, and they're about to swing off down the hill and make their way towards the 7th. Pace looks as though it's been a fairly even one. They're around about 27 miles an hour at present. Bold Endeavour setting the fractions under Freddie Gordon. To Paris Calor, Big Brasil and Guerriero between horses. They've been the chasing line ever since Bold Endeavour took over at the first. Guerriero slightly missed out there, bunny hopped it. Fluent lead from the nose-banded White Rhino, who's poised in behind them, just ahead of Hermino and Shantou Express, then Captain Morgs, Fontana Alissi, maroon jacket, and lastly Tiger Jet. On to the 8th. Bold Endeavour pricks his ears and attacks it with gusto. Very fluent there. Over Paris Calor racing wide of Big Brasil, and then Guerriero. It's a relatively short run to the 9th. And Bold Endeavour stood off that one, slightly forced an error from Big Brasil, who I think tried to match the leader, but he was behind him at the time, and he was half a stride off it, and the hurdle was still coming up as he came down, and he was quite nimble, Big Brasil, and in the pale blue he's still handy, as once more they race across the top of the course. They've only got 3 to jump from here. Bold Endeavour to Paris Calor, Big Brasil, Guerriero. White Rhino, the red cap, yet to make any sort of a move from midfield. Then Hermino to Shantou Express, Captain Morgs, Fontana Alissi, who stood off that one out wide, and Tiger Jet. And in truth, there has been very, very little change in the order, pretty much from the moment they jumped off. But pace will increase now as they start to run on down the hill on the lengthy gallop to the second last. Bold Endeavour has had the run of things so far. He still leads Paris Calor and Big Brasil. Guerriero in the yellow cap is a close fourth to White Rhino. Shantou Express out wide is making a bit of progress now under David Bass. Then Hermino to Fontana Elisi. Captain Morg's just been gently squeezed into the bridle by Nico de Boinville. Black and white jacket, and Tiger Jet, although last, is no more than 7 lengths off the pace setting Bold Endeavour as they get some air into their lungs and bear down on the second last. Bold Endeavour, Paricalor, Big Brazil still just about the leading 3. A whole host of possible challengers in behind. White Rhino burrowing through against the running rail in the noseband, trying to squeeze through between the rail and Big Brazil. He's just in a bit of a pocket at the moment, and they swing for home. Bold Endeavour, the red and white, tackled by Big Brazil, running a big race at big odds. Now White Rhino shaken up in third in the noseband to give chase. Then Paricalor, Hermino, white-faced Tiger Jet running on from the rear. They've still got a quarter mile to go and 1 to jump. Bold Endeavour, White Rhino now coming between horses. Big Brazil on the right. They'll almost be 3 in a line at the final flight. Bold Endeavour, Big Brazil crashes out when holding every chance. White Rhino now comes alongside, pokes his nose-banded head in front. Bold Endeavour fighting on willingly under pressure, but White Rhino is now beginning to assert and drawing away up the hill. It's been an up and down day for connections, but White Rhino's progression is remorseless, and he wins again. From Bold Endeavour, Hermino running on into third, and Guerriero in fourth.
Well, after the devastation of the previous race and having lost Jess Keel, they've won Oliver Greenall, Josh Guerriero and Henry Brooke with White Rhino, the 3-1 favourite, and he had to be brave and dig deep, and that's what he did. And he's seen off Bold Endeavour from the last. Freddie Gordon on board for Nicky Henderson. He indeed was the main danger to the favourite. I'm so sorry for Big Brazil, who'd made a significant error at the 9th and managed to get himself back into contention. He would surely have been placed, but was unseated at the last. Instead, Hermino's finished third for Gary Moore and Niall Houlihan, and Guerriero fourth for Brendan Powell and Joe Tizard. A nice win over horse going places.
Very much so, and he's such a likeable horse. He's got a great attitude, hasn't he? And that's 5 wins now from 7 handicap starts, and the twice that he's been beaten in handicaps, he's finished second. So, you know, he's building up a fantastic record. He's very willing, and he's a strong stayer, only just starting out over 3 miles, so they've saved it until now to step up in distance. It's evidently suited him well. He got pushed out a little bit there on the final turn when Big Brazil sort of pushed him into the railings a little bit and halted his momentum slightly, but White Rhino was quickly staying on once he got into the clear, and he's forged up the hill in good style. It was a little bit of a muddling race, I felt. I thought Freddie Gordon gave Bold Endeavour a fine ride out in front. There's the mistake from Big Brazil when he was probably just coming out third best anyway, but White Rhino